members,
like yourself,
it seems as though they are waking up. But like thinking about the 700,000 who say they ain't voting. So now what we're seeing is the base, that blind loyal base is dwindling. So that's a good thing. The blind loyal base is dwindling. What we now have to do is give them something. Because they've woken up to say they want something. So at least we know that they've rejected the old version of politics.
Right.
Now we have to do our part and say, okay, they are waking up. We have to give them something. And I think we're in 2023, nearly 2024. A general election is soon to come. We're behind time. But what we know is that there are 700,000 citizens that are clearly saying, they're shouting it, we don't want this version of politics.
Right.
We have a year to get our act together and give them something better. That's the bottom line. Now, I've made it very clear I will not be running under camera. I've made that clear. I've said that publicly already.
So all this hope that they give people here.
Well, I'll figure out how and
to
where.
and say, well, you know, people go in.
Well, there is a leadership election due, you know. First of all, they have constituency executive that was due. You know, so the opposition has get mad because all the talk that they want to stand up and say PNM disregarding and disrespecting the national constitution. The current UNC leadership disregarding and disrespecting the UNC constitution. Because when constituency executive election due, they don't call it. How long now? Must be a year plus. They open up nomination and take my money for women's
I hear talk about that they say they want back your money.
I say I want back my money. I want to know
what's going on.
Right, you know, women's army elections were due. I think they were due and due and due and due. That's to tell you how many times you have.
And they would have labeled it to be a way to get money for the party.
But you're opening up all these elections.
I want to find out if it's a con job.
Well, I can't find that out. I just want to know where the election. Answer and tell me where the election's gone. Right? Because you stand up and you're losing all authority to be able to speak. Because how can you say that it is my right, my democratic right to vote out my council, and that is why we need to have local government elections in time. The women's arm of the UNC, you know who's the chairman?
No.
You know who's the head?
No.
You know who's the head?
No.
Nobody knows who's the head. But I know who it is, but I won't call her name.
When I was in the UNC, I didn't know who was the head. I just know that it's a woman.
Right, but what is the UNC's women's arm doing? Right? I mean, we could be doing so much.
Right.
We could be doing so much. I have put forward several suggestions. Well, I used to say I go write press release and just let whoever send it out.
Right.
Right? That's one thing. So we have a press release, right? We don't even speak on national issues through press releases, right? That's an important arm of the party. Why don't we have elections? Why aren't we putting a good, solid women's arm in place? That is a campaign. That's part of campaigning, by the way.
Of course.
Right? So if
it puts you in touch with your vote.
If you only want to win, if that was the only reason you're thinking about, well, you could still do it for that reason. Right?
You know, somebody told me once, you don't have to answer. Somebody told me once, you don't have to answer.
Sure.
That Kamala doesn't want to win. That she's comfortable being the opposition. It's easier. She gets paid and without the headache.
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't
have
know.
to answer.
Well, I can't. The thing about it is though, well, maybe she's acting well. As I say, when she's a real drill sergeant. So I just don't get it. And that's why I say it just doesn't add up to me, right? Because she will come and say, well, I want to win it, you know, and she will be pushing and nobody wants to get up and do what she's saying to do, come. But then, you know what the problem is, I might think. When you push that way, there's no leadership by example.
Right.
You can't tell me boots on the ground and your boots not on the ground. If you have no example, it is difficult. Because right now, what we have in from both Keith and Kamala is a kind of a talk down, do what I say, not what I do. Right? Because you're telling everybody boots on the ground, but your boots not on the ground. You're talking about PNM and the Constitution, but UNC under Kamala doing the same thing with the Constitution. So there's a lack of example being set, clearly, you know.
Well, seeing that this is the case, you know what's going on. I'm gonna turn back this camera here a little bit. I have it on Marsha, you know.
Oh my gosh, golly.
I have it on Marsha.
And by the way, she prefers that you call her Marsha.
Yes.
All right.
Not the troublemaker.
And not Miss Walker.
An independent thinker. You know.
Well, democracy. And you know, what is it called? There's a term, you know, and there were awards and stuff for it. Oh gosh, it's not a game changer, but like a shift, a shaker. You know, there's a global term for it now. But you shake things up.
A trendsetter.
No, that's not it.
That's it.
No, because but you challenge the status quo. No, it's none of them kind of thing.
Wait, what I wouldn't go have again? I know a game changer.
I'm a
trendsetter.
It's a shaker. You know, somebody who basically shakes. Who
And going back to what Renison have said, that Marsha, with a new, vibrant following, I would have reiterated that this is the reason why. You know, this is the kind of personality that the voter is looking for. Because the traditional politician would have failed time and time and time again. And then with social media now, the public is very much aware as to what should be. And they see this in Miss Marsha.
thank you. You'll make me
Again?
blush here today, boy.
My name is Sheldon from the Progressive Empowerment Party. You're on the Workers' Right Chat.
I don't understand how you get to wear. Me ain't get to wear no UNC or then I would have walked with my UNC shirt, huh? He real branding on this party.
Well, we stop it for a little break. We stop it for a little break because this intense discussion, I'm a sweating man. Yeah, we stop it for a short break. Alright, well, we are back and we are coming here to summon up this whole thing. We're going to the highway in a little while. So we are Marsha Walker, summon up this whole thing in a nutshell.
Well, I don't even know. First of all, y'all called me here to ask why I resigned. Which was, you know, that was so simple. It was, you know, time and time again. I only resigned, by the way, one poster.
Right.
I did not resign from PR and all that. The rest was what I would call pure victimization.
Right.
You can't speak out on one issue or whatever and not expect to just totally be kicked to the curb, I guess. But it was only as the coordinator for Diego Martin West.
Okay.
And that was because we had some issues. I see the media call it women's rights issues. But there were persons on the committee that I thought needed to clear their name and come back.
Right.
And I took a stance on that. I was not prepared to work with that committee, with persons on that
Because it's not your personality.
That is not my personality, no.
Right.
And I did like Kamala for that, clear your name and come back. You know, I always say that she paid a great political price as the Prime Minister for taking such a stance, clear your name and come back. And so then, you know, like, as I say, you know, where did that Kamala go, right?
So
that was
you just say
really
something that made me need to say a script.
Yes.
So you was victimized for standing up.
I think so, yes.
Right.
I mean, well, you could judge.
Right.
I resigned from one post. I used to I earned an income through UNC. I was fired from that job. Well, they would say not fired, but you know, my services were no longer needed conveniently from that job. I was removed as the deputy chair, which is an elected position, by the way. That's not an appointed position. I was duly elected as that position, and I was removed from that position after my stance as well.
What was the reaction of your supporters that was supporting you while they was there?
No, I wouldn't say it's sort of like a few people, you know, because I can tell you that the number of private messages far outweighed the one or two trolls that they would have sent, you know.
I didn't answer those.
Yeah, they did send some trolls to call me a traitor and to this and to that and whatever, you know. But I was actually, which tells me, it confirms what we hear on the ground, right? On the ground tells us, oh gosh, Marsha, Kamala had to go. We just can't sell her anymore. We just simply can't, right? You know, which is why I said you're going to ruin your legacy. You've done well. Please just step down now. You have good people, you know. We have good people that can take
Carry
over.
the party
Carry the party, yes.
So
know?
in a nutshell, we you think the leadership of the UNC should be at this point in time if they have to win an election, if they have to win a
No, we
general?
need new leadership. That's where it needs to be. So we have to call the elections that are constitutionally due. That's the first step. I mean, I have called on, because see, Munilal put out something, oh, they have no vacancy for elections. Well, first of all, there is a vacancy in a few months for national executive. So that would be, you know, the TPLs, the chairman, the secretary, and all these different, not secretary, but all the other positions would be up.
When Munilal at time was challenging the leadership.
Yeah, which is just hypocrisy.
So we're trying to say then, in my opinion, I don't know if it's true, but if you agree
the
with me,
same thing that she do to Baz.
she do Baz your pan, the same thing.
Exactly.
So him just saying that is, I mean, you're really trying to stop you from taking
Stop
a particular
me?
action.
Well, let's put this. I have no
discourage
desire.
you, or
I want
discourage
to
you.
put this on the table for anybody who's thinking right now. Like, look at the camera. I have no desire
To be political leader.
to be political leader. I mean, certainly not at this time, right? You know, I'm looking up already. You should look at the camera because I'm looking at you. You know, certainly not at this time. I am way too young in the game to even know enough. You know, and persons need to understand where they are in life. I am not political leader ready in any form or fashion, you know, and persons must be humble in politics to know when they're ready and when they're not ready. I think that we have enough other persons who could lead
So
better than me.
what about if somebody says, but Marsha, yeah, you have what it takes.
No, that's real chain up. Just chain up. Don't take that chain up.
You're a natural. You have it naturally.
Don't take that chain up.
So,
Don't take that chain up.
how you going to rank Munilal's statement in how he made that statement publicly? How you rank
Well,
that
maybe
statement?
Kamla promising the party, you know, and I don't know why he would say it, but there is a vacancy, or there will be in 2025. Our constitution, our UNC constitution, we have a leadership election due, right? So my thing is, she's never going to call an election in the same year as a general election. It makes no sense, right? That makes no sense. So are you going to try and postpone it? It's my constitutional right to vote you out. So you best not postpone it. And seeing that it makes no logical sense to have it in 2025, what you should do is have it next year, so that we get this out of the way and be ready for 2025. 2024, a NATEX election is due, right? That's what I was explaining to you. All the other positions. She has never, which is again unconstitutional, she has never run alone. She always runs the same time with the rest of the NATEX. So Munilal playing because constitutionally Munilal position up next year, 2024. That in a few months, it's early next year. I think it's March or May next year. Election due. Munilal spot up.
Do you think Munilal may have ambition of being the next political leader of the
I'm
UNC?
certain. I think so. Yeah. Well, look, clearly he's shown that ambition. Did he go up once? So he's shown that ambition,
So-
which is why when he talk about it's delusional to have such ambition, I'm like, so were you delusional?
So his statement saying that is that we could say that he probably feel that
Well, maybe he and Kamla work out a deal behind the scene, and that's why he all of a sudden trying to.
I'd ask you the next question. You know, I'd go
shit.
by Lisha Dore. What do you think about Lisha Dore involvement in all of this talk that you threw back that towards
I
you?
think that's not worth my time speaking.
Okay.
It's not worth the people's time speaking about.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for the interview, and you know, going up by the highway.
Yes, let's go to the highway.
Sheldon Khan.
Well, folks, as I said, we want to thank Ms. Walker for coming on the Point 14.
This man called me Miss Walker again. Boy.
For coming to Point 14. We want to invite the rest of you folks to come down here and enjoy the ambience and the people of Point 14. One of the things that when she first came here, she said, you know, I didn't believe you have better beaches than Maracas.
I did not say that. I said good beaches.
I ain't going Maracas again. From now on, I'm from Rosilak, I down here. So, we want to invite everybody.
Yes, for sure. Come to Clifton Hill.
Come take a look.
Yeah, boy. Okay, well, let's go to the highway.
Yeah.
All right.